everybody? I'm Michelle Montaigne, and I am so excited to welcome you back to our studios for She Got Game, a new series exclusively here on WFAA Plus that highlights all of the amazing, talented, and strong female athletes all across North Texas. Now, there's no better way to do that than to kick things off with our newest professional soccer team here in Dallas, Trinity-FC. The team is part of the USL Super League. It's a brand new league playing in its inaugural season right now. Now, it's important to know the USL Super League and the National Women's Soccer League, which was launched back in 2013, are both Division I leagues, meaning they both occupy the same place atop the U.S. soccer women's professional pyramid. Unlike the NWSL, the USL season takes place from August to May with a winter break, which aligns with a global soccer calendar. It also gives players the opportunity to play at the international stage during the summer months. Important to note, there's also no salary cap or annual draft. And as we've seen in the opening season, the USL Super League has attracted some fresh young talent, specifically for Dallas-Trinity-fc. We'll get to meet some of them in just a moment. But first, our own Chris Lawrence got the chance to sit down with Dallas-Trinity-fc founder and president Charlie Neal and pick his brain about why he made this investment and what success will look like to him in year number one.
The newest pro team in North Texas is suiting up for the second half of the season.
We're making really good progress.
An amazing head coach for us, and that's Pauline McDonald from the Scottish Football Association.
We've got a mix up here.
Dallas Trinity comes out of the break second place in the USL Super League.
Dun, 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 dun. Can I just have yours?
Amber Brooks, our captain.
You have like the nicest one, too.
This club's in second place, and that's in large part to her leadership.
Yeah, sure.
And we've got a chance to host a home playoff game and maybe a final, which would be really great to see.
Charlie Neal runs the club from an office in Farmers Branch.
So just thinking through.
Looks so good.
While the team practices at Hockaday and plays its matches at Fair Park.
What did you learn in the fall that you'll carry into the new spring season?
There's no magical marketing campaign that will turn this into 90,000 people at the Cotton Bowl. This will grow really with investment in youth soccer, investment in young girls.
The club just signed one of the most talented young players in the country.
We're so excited about our newest acquisition, Lexi Missimo.
She stood out as a little girl in South Lake.
Beat her. Good. Nice, Lexi.
Dominated the competition at Solar Soccer Club and became the Texas Longhorns' all-time leader in points and assists.
Oh, go on, Lexi, no pressure.
And Missimo has
At the ground. Yes, right, play. 4 passes.
plenty of company on this club.
3, 4, well done.
I think it's close to 10 players now that have some tie to North Texas, which is so amazing to see.
They grew up in Midlothian, Arlington, Grapevine, Capel, Frisco,
Again.
Prosper.
Yeah, set.
But some players had to move all the way to Iceland to go pro.
Or France or Sweden or Finland, and now with the team back in Dallas, they were motivated to come home.
Neal is pitching his club as an ambassador
Force it down.
to capitalize on the summer of 2026.
Where are the opportunities leading up into the World Cup?
Touch around, finish.
Dallas will be the backdrop of the most popular sporting event in the world.
Oh, yeah, we're cruising now.
I would love a world where our players are taking these international broadcast partners around our community and saying, hey, that's where I get coffee. That's my favorite shop over there.
The far one.
We're actively talking with the city about what's the legacy for the girls' game
After the World Cup.
After the World Cup.
Would you love to see the Women's World Cup come here as well?
Yeah, I think that's an easy one, right?
The worst part of soccer.
We're certainly advocating with Monica Paul
Worse than fitness.
to have Dallas throw their hat in that conversation.
Way worse.
The proof of concept could be there to say, hey, 2031, we've done it right. Maybe we've even learned some things to improve upon. Can we replicate this again for the women's side?
10 years from now, where would you like to see Dallas Trinity be?
If it's not 90,000 people in the Cotton Bowl, a facility that's reflective of what these women deserve.
Nice. Good cushion.
This is the top level of pro soccer these women can play in our country, and so we certainly want facilities that are reflective of that.
Much better, more realistic.
There's an audience, there's an engagement, there's an opportunity to grow.
Nice, well done.
Now, with the majority of the season already complete and playoffs right around the corner, Dallas-Trinity-fc is looking to finish the regular season strong. You heard Chris mention there that a lot of the players are local, and there's one powerhouse that has made national headlines. Strawn is from Prosper, and she's just 17 years old. Our Natalie Haddad got to speak to the Phenom last fall. Here's her interview.
She's only stepped on the pitch a couple of times this year. But there was something about one early November day that felt...
I wasn't sure what it was. I was like...
different.
I'm not sure I'm going to see the field, but I have a really good feeling.
Strawn is having a high school experience unlike any other. Sure, she's got her friend groups and her extracurriculars, but at just 17 years old, a junior in high school, she is one of the youngest players on Dallas-Trinity-fc, the city's first professional women's soccer team with the United Soccer League Super League.
First practice I have with them, obviously it was a great experience, and then that next day they're talking about, hey, we want you guys to sign an academy contract and we want you to come be a part of the team.
Sealy plays forward on the club, listed on the roster as an academy player. She plays for free, but this allows her to later move on to play collegiately after high school. The opportunity, Sealy says, is unmatched.
It's hard to explain with words.
She says the coaches and players make her a better person and player on and off the field. And all of that showcased itself when, on November 2nd, something within her said this was her moment.
The moment that I saw the keeper,
Great ball in behind here.
I took off 100%. I was not gonna let anyone else get to that ball.
First time strike is saved. The rebound is in. Finished off by Strawn.
The teenager landed her first professional soccer goal.
I'm pretty sure I let out the biggest scream ever.
An achievement worth celebrating and remembering for the rest of her soccer career as Dallas-Trinity's first season comes to a close.
Could not wipe the smile off my face.
It is moments like these she credits to her faith.
God gave me this gift for a reason, and I know that wherever my path leads, He's leading it for me.
Until next season, when Sealy runs onto the pitch again. In Dallas, I'm Natalie Haddad.
Watching that first goal, I just got goosebumps. And fun fact on Strawn, she just got called up to play for the U.S. Women's National Team U18 camp. Incredible stuff from just a 17-year-old. Now on to the team's leader, Captain Amber Brooks. She's a UNC alum and she's a veteran defender with extensive professional experience. She's actually the first player signed by Dallas-Trinity-fc, and she is the real deal. Here's our extended interview with Amber Brooks.
My name's Amber Brooks. I'm 33 years old, so on the older side of the team. Been playing 12 years professionally. I play mostly center back or defensive center mid, doesn't really matter, coach's choice. And I grew up in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, I know you have quite a bit of experience in WSL. What do you think? How do you think that's going to play out? With experience there versus this league that's going to be coming in the fall.
Yeah, I think it's important not to compare the leagues as much as possible. Obviously, inevitably that's going to happen, but I think the most important thing about the USL Super League is that it's offering 150 more female players job opportunities to play professional soccer in the U.S., which is arguably the best league in the world. So yeah, I expect to obviously bring a lot of experience. A lot of that was tailored to the NWSL and the players there, but I think at the end of the day, soccer is soccer, and so you'll have other teams with other players that have played in the NWSL, some that have played overseas. I've done both, and I think it's just, as one of the veteran players, feel a responsibility to bring the team together for sure.
What was that like to be, the first announced signing of the club?
Yeah, that was really cool. I've played on a lot of clubs. I don't think I've ever been the first signing, so that was a nice little touch for sure.
Then you have some history in the Houston area. You played for the Dash for a little bit. What are you expecting to return to Texas?
Yeah, so we actually played one of our games up in Dallas here. It was post Hurricane Harvey. Our field was unplayable, so FC Dallas really welcomed us up to their stadium in Frisco, and we got more fans at that game on late notice than we ever did in my 4 years in Houston. So it was kind of that moment that I was like, why does Dallas not have a women's professional soccer team? This is crazy between the like talented female players that they produce, and just the number of fans that obviously are craving a team. It just made sense. So I'm glad now, like 8 years later, basically, it's happening.
What is it, thinking back to back then and now you haven't lived in Dallas, you told me that you just moved here, what, a couple weeks ago. What has your experience been like?
It's been good, yeah, hot, but I mean, used to that between Houston and even when I played in Australia, it was in the dead heat of their summer. So, and even North Carolina, where I spent the past few months or preseasons, like we're used to it. It's just something you acknowledge and push through. But yeah, it's been great. My fiance is a high school football coach, so he's got some interviews lined up. Hopefully he finds something that'll be good for him here, Dallas football. Everyone's been really welcoming, just the little stuff I've had to do with the team, the club members. Obviously I'd met the Neal family, but just meeting even like the interns and other people helping out. There's a lot of work to do in the next couple of weeks before we kick off, but you can see like the intention is there and everyone's really bought in.
For you, what does it mean to play your home matches in the Cotton Bowl that has such a rich history of hosting World Cup matches and friendlies of all these club teams from around the world?
Yeah, it was funny again. Like when I told my fiance he played football at Auburn, and I was like, "Hey, like we're playing our home games in the Cotton Bowl," and he was like, "What?" Like that's crazy. So I actually got to visit it last week. I had a photo shoot there, and yeah, I mean, obviously the first thing you notice is how big it is, and but honestly, the things that as players we care about is the surface, and obviously probably the grass will be replaced even before we kick off in September. But the grass that they had laid down for the U.S. men's national team training was some of the best I've ever seen. And I think as a player, like, yeah, you want your atmosphere to be bumping, but like first and foremost, you want to be playing on a good surface that can make or break a game. So I think in terms of like the Neal family looking at it like from that player perspective, securing the best grass in the city and then it being actually in the city. I've played on a lot of clubs where we're playing 45 minutes to an hour outside of the actual fan base that we're trying to encourage to come, and that's obviously just not ideal on a weekly basis. So I think the city of Dallas stepping up and helping with that subsidy and wanting their women's sports teams like in Dallas is huge.
I know you mentioned that you've spent some time in Carolina, played at USC, or not USC, UNC, and you just played in the TSC tournament over in Cary. What was it like to get back out there and compete in that tournament?
Yeah, oh, it was an amazing tournament. I mean, just even for the second year, obviously really the first year having like a full-blown women's division, but Chris Ball and Aleko Escuderian are a couple of the big ones that are running it, and it's honestly very professionally done. Some of the most professional competition I've been a part of. There's definitely like little nuances and rules that you learn, and you're like, okay, our team definitely needed more players. There's a certain way that like, it's almost like ice hockey or it's like futsal. You can't treat it as like a normal 11s game. And so we didn't have a ton of players, so I had to play every minute, which is not how you're supposed to do it. But it was so fun. It was great, and it was just really great to see, that they had the women's division this year, and it was basically like a reunion of, for most of us, you knew just about everyone else on the teams, and the fact that it was equal prize money at the end of the day was obviously a great thing.
I saw you tweeted out that you like the color maroon on you. Can you talk about like just like the logo and the colors and what it all means to you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they did a great job. Whoever, I think I've actually met him, but whoever they hired for like the branding and the design did a great job. Obviously, I think people just look at things first glance, but then when you know the like motives and the history behind it, and Pegasus is really cool. I'm really into like mythical creatures in history, so like I was like, oh, Pegasus. And yeah, like the color, like obviously it's trending a little toward Florida State, which I'm like, but at the same time, I think I've been out of college long enough, and I've actually never been on a team that has like this colorway, so I'm definitely excited. But yeah, it was established that at least in Burnley maroon, I looked good, so I think we're good to go.
As far as the coach just got announced a couple days ago, have you spoken with her? Like, what's the relationship like there?
Yeah, I had a Zoom chat with her a few weeks ago, her and the assistant that she's bringing over, and it was just very much like getting to know you. They've obviously, there's like film galore out there for me from all the years, and kind of just like what type of player I am, and what value I can bring and stuff like that. So it wasn't like really intricate. It was just like, hey, like, here's me, here's kind of like our initial thoughts on you, like, hopefully we get over there soon, and like kind of expect me a little bit to obviously provide some leadership given the experience that I have, but nothing in depth. We just, we obviously want to play entertaining soccer. I think everyone says that though. And as a defender, I'm going to say, okay, well then we need to be scoring and we need to be keeping goals at the back of our net. So there's a lot to work on once she hits the ground running. But in terms of initial conversation, she was really enthusiastic and I think really excited about a player like me. So obviously that's great for me to hear. And
then lastly, I know you when you moved out here, you I guess put a call out for recommendations. Have you gotten any good ones?
Yeah, I did get some, and I tried like houndstooth coffee. That was very good, I will say. So I didn't even start drinking coffee till I played in Australia in like 2019. But my fiance is like a 3 cup a day, and like lattes, not like black coffee or anything like that. So by default, I am now like addicted to coffee. Like I will get a caffeine headache if I don't have a latte in the morning. So we're very like snobby about it. Like we don't go to Starbucks unless like that's like last case thing. So we have our own. We actually are building our own coffee like station at home. We've got a good machine. But we're always looking around for like good beans. We've got our own grinder, but we like to support locally. So if we go, like we went to Houndstooth, and I think we bought a couple of bags. We was like, oh, we like your stuff, and we make like pretty good lattes, especially like he'll drink about 3 in the morning. I only need 1 and maybe an afternoon one. So like we can't be buying 4 lattes like a day. But sometimes as like a treat, like maybe after this I'll come back, like stop at someplace. So we're still looking. It's hard to find gluten-free. I've found a few gluten-free like restaurants that look pretty good, but it's nice if you like go get a coffee and they happen to have like a bakery item that's gluten-free. That's like the best. So we're definitely homebodies. We cook everything basically ourselves. So it's more like getting out to a farmer's market and like a good meat place. And again, like we prefer to support local. Obviously, there's great I think options in Dallas. So. But we will throughout, probably more so with my teammates. I will be getting out and eating because. That
was gonna be my next question. Like, have you gone to any restaurants or anything?
After training one day, we went to like Mi Cocina. For lunch with like Trip and a few of us players who finished training last week. So that was good. Obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of great like Tex-Mex. And I love barbecue. So for me, I think I'm gonna have barbecue catered for the wedding.
There you go.
I'm gonna go, but. I mean, we're open, but my fiance, dog, and I are pretty much homebodies. Like, we love to cook pretty much everything. So it's more like, has to be like a really special place to get us out and about.
I know I said that was the last one. This is really the last one. Just what are you most excited about coming this fall with the season coming up?
I think playing games. I think for most of us, there's been like this awkward period of time where we haven't really been in a team environment playing like competitive games. So for me, like truly, I went into preseason with Chicago and then trained with UNC, but those games, didn't really count. So I haven't played like a meaningful game since last November. So I'm a super competitive person. That's why I'm still playing. Otherwise, I would just, retire softly. But I absolutely love competing and getting after it, and then obviously by default winning. So the plan is to. I know we have 2 games before that we have to make a point, but I think everyone showing up the 7th, it'll be way worth it for sure.
So good hearing from her. We had everything from soccer to coffee and maybe a barbecue catered wedding. Awesome listening to the captain. But as for another player on this roster, Lexi Missimo, a Southlake High School alum and proud University of Texas graduate, was one of the most exciting signings yet. And we got an exclusive interview with her you will not want to miss. That's coming up right after the break here on She Got Game. Welcome back to She Got Game. It's funny, sometimes in sports, things play out like a movie that must have been scripted in Hollywood. Lexi Missimo's story feels a little bit like that. A native of Southlake, born to 2 parents who both played soccer, Lexi played for one of the best youth clubs in the country, Solar SC. She was a consensus 5-star recruit. She went on to commit to the University of Texas while still in middle school, something that was absolutely unheard of at that time. She then would go on to conclude her Longhorn career as Texas's leader in career points, assists, and goals, while becoming the first student athlete in Big 12 Conference history to lead the league in every individual statistical category. Following her collegiate career that was absolutely historic, Missimo got to sign her first professional contract with her hometown team, Dallas-Trinity-fc. Here's our sit down with Lexi as she talks about how all of those moments have led to this one.
I mean, it would be a dream. I mean, playing for the Crest, I mean, it's just an honor. And if I get to that point, then, I mean, my dreams will come true since I was a little kid. And to know that little kids would look up to me.
So I just want you to take me back from the beginning of your soccer story when you were a little girl. What made you want to play soccer, and what made you fall in love with it?
Yeah, so what made me get into soccer was my sister, actually, because I was watching her grow up play for the Honey Bears, actually, and I was seeing how fun she had and how competitive she was, and I was like, I want to do that one day, and I was actually the mascot for her team.
Okay.
I'd wear a UNC North Carolina cheerleader outfit, and I'd even get the trophies when they won something, and ever since that, it was just history from there.
I was reading, so your entire family is big soccer, because like your dad played at UNC, and so what is it like growing up in a family where soccer is kind of like the thing?
Yeah, so my mom played for TCU, my dad at UNC, and I mean, we're just a big soccer family. We all love soccer. It's funny, we don't watch it as much as people think, but we just love the game. We love how it brings us close together as a family, and my dad was my coach for a long time, so those little things just made us closer, and it was more time for us to hang out because he was busy with work too.
What was it like, growing up, so when you were little in DFW, there wasn't a pro team around. And so back then, opportunities were a little bit more limited. What was it like growing up in the youth system and being such a very good player at that level?
It means the world that there's a pro team now in Dallas. I mean, I just think the women's game is growing, and now that there's more teams in a new league, I just think it's very important for women's sports in general, and I just could not be more happy that I grew up in Dallas, and now that there's a pro team for me to play with in front of my family.
So who were the people, the players that growing up you idolized? Who did you want to be?
Oh, it's a hard question. I think Alex Morgan, of course, Roosevelt, Lindsey Horan, because those two play the position I'm into, and I just looked up to those girls.
And so,
of course, Messi too.
Oh, there you go.
Messi too.
So, I guess when you're growing up in the youth system around here, and you're doing really well, the more traditional way is to go play overseas, go do that. I heard that you were offered pro contracts, but you turned those down and went to Texas instead. What was behind that decision?
Well, a lot of it is behind the scenes too. I mean, you have to get the pro points to go into England, and that is to play in a Tier 1 league in the States or anywhere outside of England. And I mean, if they offered me, but I would have to get loaned out to Switzerland or Sweden for a little bit and then go back. So ultimately, I just wanted to get my education first because, I mean, you always want a backup plan, and education is very important to me and my family. And obviously, Texas is a great school. I mean, especially when NIL just became a thing too, which helped. But no, ultimately, I have to get the pro points first, and then that's still my dream, though, is to play in England or Italy too.
Okay. So is this true? I read that you committed to Texas in 7th grade.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So so you stuck through going through 6, 7, 8 years before you even got to go to college. You knew where you were going to go. What was it like going down to Austin and playing for the University of Texas?
Oh man, I mean, it just felt like home because I mean I committed there when I was 7th grade. I went through those camps, and going there, it just felt like home, like I said. And Ange Kelly just cares about you more as a player. I meant more as a person than as a player, and that means a lot to me. And that's what I found unique with Pauline too at Dallas Trinity.
And so while you're there, like this team, Dallas Trinity, kind of in the league itself, became a thing while you were at Texas. And so with that option that comes up, like, is that something that you immediately were like, I want to go do that, I want to go back to Dallas, or like, how did that go about?
I was talking about it with my inner circle, my family, and I mean, I just think it came down to a lot of decisions. Ultimately, I mean, financially it was great. The team, the culture was great for me. I mean, ultimately playing in my first pro contract in Dallas in front of my family meant the world to me. Just those things, I think it's just where it came down. And I didn't really look at the two leagues like any different. I just chose what would be the best for my development. And it's also important for a rookie to get a lot of minutes. And
then speaking of, like, what has it been like making that transition from college ball to pro ball? How has the transition been for you?
I just think the game's more faster. I think it's also very technical in college, like it was the same, but ultimately I just think the speed of play is faster. And for me, I want to grow my game defensively and offensively, and I think Dallas Trinity will be a good step in the next direction while I'm playing pro.
And then, I mean, you scored 4 minutes into your debut. What was that like?
I was not expecting that. I was a great ball by Allie, and I was literally like wide open, and I remember getting it, and I was 1v1 with the keeper, and I was like, okay, well, I practiced this so many times, I'm not gonna miss, and I just slotted it, and I was just so happy, and I was like, wow, this was meant to be.
And so you mentioned growing up, and your idols were, you know, Alex Morgan and Rose Lavelle and all these women that have played for the national team and everything, very popular. What does it mean to you that you could potentially be a little girl today, their Alex Morgan or their Rose Lavelle that is like going to the Trinity games?
I mean, it would be a dream. I mean, playing for the Crest, I mean, it's just an honor. And if I get to that point, then, I mean, my dreams will come true since I was a little kid. And to know that little kids would look up to me, it is a weird circle of life, but I mean, that would be just everything to me.
And I guess I'll end with this. When you look back on, 10, 15 years from now, when you look back on your career, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I want to leave behind that I'm very technical and tactical, but ultimately a good teammate. I feel like that's very important, and I always want to have a good impression on my teammates.
I think Lexi has a good impression on everyone she meets. That was certainly the case for me, but we do have to give you a bit of unfortunate news on her front. She suffered an injury and has been ruled out for the rest of the season, so you won't get to watch Lexi play this year, but that just means more to look forward to in the future. We know a lot of hard work has gone into making this franchise successful, and the early results have shown that work is paying off. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Dallas-Trinity-FC news, like what I just mentioned about Lexi's injury, you can follow me by searching for Michelle Montaigne on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, anything online. And with that, I just have to say, I'm so excited for more to come here on She Got Game. We'll see you soon.